Hey, welcome back to another episode of Reform the Phone with Rock, aka the Phone Amplified, aka Let's Spread Peace and Love to the community. And thanks for tuning in and always continue to spread that peace and love to the community. And in today's episode, we're going to be talking about Maryland and how it became to be. It's important to know the surroundings and the story of where you live and where you're from so you can understand how those energies have been around and can still affect you today. So let's take a look. In this video, I'm only going to be covering some important events between the 17th century and the 19th century. Firstly, in the early 17th century, when the European settlers first arrived, this land was already inhabited by over 8,000 natives, whom of which comprised over 40 different tribes. As humans, we all are a part of different tribes ourselves. So some of those natives may have been some of your ancestors. Nevertheless, wars broke out between the Europeans and the natives over land, trade, as well as other things. After the wars cleared up, treaties were signed, and some natives stayed in Maryland and some agreed to different lands. In 1631, the first trading post was established on Kent Island. Maryland was known for trading tobacco and flour and other products, but primarily Maryland was based on a tobacco-based economy. Now, the state of Maryland officially began in 1634 when Cecilius Calvert of the Calvert family sailed in from England. He was given a charter from England to name Maryland after Henrietta Maria, the first queen of Charles I. And it's kind of interesting, if you ask me, how someone can come from another country and just claim their land, claim your land or the natives' land as their own. And it's still happening today, which is wild. Like how somebody could just come from a whole another country and just say this is my land and you can't say nothing about it. And that's, why wars break out, but, that's neither here nor there. Put it together as like Calvert, Calvert County, the Calvert family, Calvert Street, and, that's all from bases in England, coming to settle in Maryland. With that being said, the name Baltimore came from Lord Baltimore. Cecilius Calvert was considered Lord Baltimore, meaning that he himself was considered the second Lord Baltimore in terms of lords, and which is interesting also because, in the Bible and scriptures, people say lords, but at the same time, lords were being known as individuals of some type of power in England and other countries. Speaking of religion, Calvert's vision was to make Maryland a place of religious tolerance, which attracted many different religions such as the Protestant religion, the Catholicism religion, and the Hebrew religion, and many more, which later led to the Act of Religious Tolerance, which meant that individuals could practice their faith without worry of prosecution, and which I find to be kind of ironic at the same time that 1661, slavery was officially allowed to be practiced. However, you have people in wars fighting over religion, while at the same time individuals are being hung for their race and being treated as second-class citizens because of their color of their skin. So it kind of makes you think, like, at that time, did individuals really know what was right and what was wrong? During the 18th century, there's a lot of different groups of individuals coming from different countries coming to settle in Maryland. So you had the Europeans, you have the Britons that were coming, you have individuals from the Haitian Revolution, refugees coming over. There was a lot of different people interacting and coming to Maryland. Also in the 18th century, in 1776 was when the Declaration of Independence was signed, which meant under their pretenses, all men were created equal, and a bunch of other stuff that, we all know wasn't true during that time because you still had slavery going on and you still had individuals of different races not getting the same rights and laws. People being created as second-class citizens that weren't of a certain race. We can fast forward a little bit to the 19th century, and one of the important events in Maryland was the War of 1812. War of 1812, the U.S. declared war on Britain because of various reasons, including trade restrictions that existed because of the war between Britain and France, and different insults between both countries. That's some of the reasons why the U.S. declared war on Britain and caused the War of 1812. The War of 1812 was a 36-month war. So that war turned into the Battle of Bladensburg and then to the Battle of Baltimore. Now, at the Battle of Baltimore, one of the nationally known poems became one of the nation's anthem, which is the Star Spangled Banner, written by Francis Scott Key. As he was prisoner, he saw the flag still flying. He was inspired to write the poem. And later, Britain ended up retreating and the U.S. won the war. And they retreated along the Chesapeake Bay. Another important event during the 19th century was the establishment of the B&O Railroad system. B&O stands for Baltimore and Ohio. Now, this was the first railroad system in the country that through rigorous terrain, and it helped get different products to different countries. Throughout the 19th century, they were continually building and building on a B&O railroad system so it can extend and achieve longer and longer distances of travel. B&O railroad system soon became one of the staples for travel, extending from here to Ohio and further. Not to forget that in 1889 was when the first women's suffrage association was formed in Maryland, and that was formed by Caroline Miller, which helped give women equal rights and equal treatment. So that was very important in the society and the community. In the late 19th century, the Orioles won their first championship, and the Afro-American newspaper was established. Johns Hopkins Hospital was established. Morgan State University in 1890 was established. Enoch Pratt opened the first public library, and Enoch Pratt believed that, everyone should be able to have the chance to read, no matter the race, color of their skin, and education and knowledge should be open to everyone. And finally, in 1864, November 1st, the emancipation of slaves was finally signed in under the state constitution in 1864, which freed slaves. Even though it was abolished in 1864, people were still treated as second-class citizens, and equality was somewhat of a myth. But people still fought for equal treatment and continue to inspire, and the energy still exists in here. This is just a few events. I know I left some out, but it's a lot of history and a lot of stories and a lot of energy in Maryland that has been existing for centuries, years and years and years. So it's important to do your studies and do your research and help embrace the energy that exists, and put your thinking cap on and check some of this stuff out. Make sure you're educated and knowledgeable, because some of the stuff is hidden books. And continue to do an amazing job at spreading that peace and love to the community. And one love, peace out, and love y'all.